Yeah, it's crazy. Shizzy.
Hey, what's going on, my little nomads, party people, and strangers everywhere across the internet? My name is V, and right now I am still kind of molding over all this news I keep hearing about remakes and reboots, especially after having the review of Magnificent 7, which is a reboot of a remake that I'm kinda not happy about seeing all the time unless it's the original source material. Which brings us today to my Nomadic Opinions episode on the reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, of Stephen King's It and the original Crow. Now, for all intents and purposes, I will remove any sort of attachment I have towards either of the original films and just focus on it as a whole as a non-biased third party in the wake of every single news outlet that says all the details about said production. Now, for Stephen King's It, because it's the most prevalent one, because a lot of people talk about that more than The Crow, and it predates it by a decade or so. So, from the original aspect of it from the books, Stephen King's It elaborated more on what it was trying to accomplish as a suspenseful supernatural horror with a constantly shape-shifting alien creature that went from a clown to a spider to a person, and possession of all of the people to then enact horrible acts on other people. And also going into creepy territory of saying that Beverly, one of the only female characters in the book, from what I remember, when she was a child, thinking that if everyone were to share everything, meant that sleeping with all the guys in the group would mean that they wouldn't have sort of a problem against it when it was Pennywise the clown. I'm not even making that shit up. You can look it up in the book yourself. She actually has shared sex with all of the boys.
I'm gagging and vomiting at the same time. I'm vomiting.
So, from the movie itself, trying to glossing over a lot of the stuff from the childhood aspect and a lot of the stuff in the adult aspect of how it was trying to shape out into things about how memories work, how it affects all the cast and crew, not cast and crew like the cast of the movie, the crew inside the show, of how they were to get all the town folks involved, and yada yada yada, all the book sort of stuff you can get from a booktuber about. The movie itself was a good staple for what Stephen King wanted to have in a movie. Not necessarily a good thing, but still something pretty good. I wouldn't say it was one of the best movies I ever saw. I mean, I've seen a lot better. I've seen Carrie, the original, and the Stacey Patton version. I've seen Christine, The Shining, all that sort of stuff where I'm just like, this is not one of the best ones, but I'll take it. But the remake itself, from what they're trying to do, I'm kind of iffy on. Because from the news reports I've heard, it's basically about the childhood aspect being the full focus of the first film. They're trying to go into the two-parter film franchise, like so many others have done. Anywho, from just focusing on the kids aspect and even elaborating on a creepier Pennywise, yes, but to be fair, no one likes clowns to begin with. I have an inherent anger issue towards clowns. That's why I'm banned from most circuses. And no, I'm not joking. When it comes to Pennywise as a character, though, I can't see anyone topping what Tim Curry tried to do, trying to alleviate what so many people found problems with the clown aspect archetype. Because, honestly, a lot of people that have the archetype of clowns, they make them too joking or too sinister. It's not like a good balance with the Joker in the Batman comics or in even the movies, where it's sadistically comical. It's sort of just like that either-or thing factor. But Tim Curry managed to merge them together where it was such a cheese factor of comedy with sinister aspects toward every single action that he did. They're kind of just like, okay, it's Tim Curry. He was our Rocky Horror star. He was all of our childhoods wrapped into one giant good package. I could see this. With this new actor, whoever they're getting for Pennywise, that is where things get a little bit tricky. Because like everyone will point out in the coming thing I'm going to be talking about, replacing an established character with an established actor to their quotum is a really, really hard thing to do. And even harder to pull off successfully. I mean, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate and say that Laverne Cox during the Rocky Horror Picture Show live show, Let's Do the Time Warp Again, was pretty entertaining, but not as entertaining as Tim Curry. That's because Tim Curry's staple is being, I'm such a sweet transvestite. It's his moniker. It's what Rocky Horror, Monty Python sort of fans love. So you can't really blame that on the directmanship, you just gotta blame that on how good the actor was when they did the role. As for it being a reboot or remake, that's my biggest issue so far. Like how I will point out with the Ghostbusters 2016 movie eventually, you can do a story in the same universe and same timeline, but make it its own unique story by saying it's an expansion story instead of a sequel or reboot or remake. You could have obviously had Stephen King say that the material that they used to kill it in the original franchise obviously didn't work out that much, and basically an unknown character from Dark Towers resurrected it to then cause a giant cataclysm within their time stream of having him come back. That way you can introduce new characters while alluding to the old ones. That would have been a lot better for me, honestly. But I've said enough things about it so far because we don't know a lot about the material of it as of yet. However, for The Crow, we know a little bit too much. Now, when it comes to The Crow, I'm going to eliminate anything I know about the movie because I barely know the comic. Because all I know is he gets his revenge, he goes back to the grave, the Crow then goes on to choose 3 to 4 more hosts, and then we have 3 to 4 more the Crows coming and going, blah blah blah. I'm gonna eliminate anything I know about the movie and just focus on this remake. It's not a reboot or anything, it's a remake of the original one from Brandon Lee, which is by far one of the most fucked up things I could think of. Especially because he died playing this role. That is literally like saying if Gene Wilder died while making Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and then you remake that on the whole sacrilege of saying this movie dedicated to this guy was okay, but let's just stomp on his memory and then just use this. You have to know your limits, Hollywood, because you don't do stuff when it's dedicated to someone that died in production to the film. Would you do that to Paul Walker in Furious 7, for that matter? Would you just all of a sudden be like, you know what, Vin Diesel? I know you call him family, but can we remake that entire franchise, make his character so irrelevant and his character arc nothing to offer, and have him played by a different character you know nothing about? Think of it like this, guys. Let's just say that you had your movie planned out for your entire friends and loved ones. Your closest friend was given the role. He does the role so well that he embodies it to a T for you. The second you get done with it, he or she dies during production. You have no other way of figuring out how to do anything else except use a body actor, and then just use recorded footage of what he used to do for the sound quality while he or she was live. I'm sorry I keep leaving out he or she. I'm just in that whole mindset of Brandon Lee. And as soon as it's done, people like it, it becomes a cult following, people enjoy it. You still feel like you're giving good praise to your best friend. But here's the kicker. years later, because someone out there thinks that there's a new way to retell the story. Not from a different character, not from a whole new original design of the character, but the character that you portrayed with your best friend. They eliminate that by having someone else play that, demolishing what you tried to establish in their honor. Now, I could hear a lot of people saying, oh, it's the same movie if it's you watching the original. No. No, 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 no. Fuck how you pronounce whatever it is that you're trying to say. It's never going to be the same. I could literally ask a lot of people how they would feel about the original Samurai 7 or 7 Samurai after they watched Magnificent 7. 9 out of 10 won't know what the fuck I'm talking about because they only see what is out and what is prevalent and popular. That is what their mindset is for consumerism. That is how they will establish their own key attachment to that. You won't have that same sort of appeal with it because you saw the original product. They didn't. So you will end up feeling like the old head, someone that does not know what they're talking about when you say, this came out that time, when they will just be like, no, this came out here. It's never going to be the same, and I'm tired of that argument. It's never the same for anyone. I could literally see so many people saying the same argument for the original Ocean's 11. People saw that when it was first released, but didn't know about the original. I had to research that before I even saw the first film, and yet everyone's just like, huh, that's a wonderful news story, I never heard of it. And yet a lot of people in the movie were just like, are you kidding me? My grandpa told me about this movie back in the day. I used to see it with my grandpa. There was an original story to this. Or, how about this? There are constant remakes of so many things in fiction that it is, quite frankly, appalling. Where so many people will have it go over their heads yet think that's the original. Could you say the same argument with The Crow? Yes, because no one is emphasizing the care factor. They're always just like, if it's something that we gotta do that has already been done, let's reboot it, let's remake it, and give zero fucks on the matter. And that is my big issue. Not the directmanship of how they're trying to do it, not the casting, just how they're doing it. Cause honestly, the crow is an ambiguous character as is. It's just a magical crow that raises the dead. You can do that with any character if you were to, I don't fucking know. Think of your own name, think of your own setting, cast your own new story with someone that knows something about the material to make your own new crow character. Someone that just like has memories of all previous Crow cast members to just be like, oh, okay, I can do this, but I can also envelop new powers along with it. Cause you know, that's creative. That's versatile. Not reprehensible bullshit like what they're doing right now. And you know what the sad part is? I'm saying this as an amateur filmmaker. I don't even have anything on the silver screen because I lack the funds to do what a lot of people do right now. I have plenty of scripts lying around, I have plenty of movie ideas I could do today, and yet they will never get as far as these because you wanna know the sad factor of it all? No one really gives a shit about original quality anymore because they're just focused on rebooting what's already made. Remaking what's already been established. Not giving a fuck about if something was dedicated to this person or that person, just full-blown remake and reboots. Like that whole Willy Wonka prequel bullshit we're trying to establish how he became Willy fucking Wonka. I am appalled. I am angered. I am so tired of all of these things. And the thing of it is, I'm not mad as someone that wants to do something on a completely different related topic. I would love to tackle anything that Hollywood would give me for anything that I could turn to an original story. Give me a Static Shock movie, I would turn that into gold if I have to. Give me a movie about Icon and Rocket? Fuck yeah, I would do that in an instant. Give me a story where I could do African mythology. I would make Anansi the Spider and Nagi and all that other stuff with the Binyip and other Aborigine stuff introduced into that mythology, making it an Aborigine/African mythology story in a heartbeat. Give me something like an actual script to redo all the mistakes from the Percy Jackson movies. Done! I read the books all the time. I could do that. But the problem I find with all these things with the reboots and remakes that I've just established is that none of the directmanship from Hollywood is pretty much taking the time to say, we could have done better. We could have done original. We could have done something smart. It's all about how they feel about how their pockets will turn out for money rather than what their integrity would do to cause actual fan base and inspiration to take place in the whole grand scheme of things. Cause you know, that's what film and television does, Hollywood. You help us try to bring out the inspiration and creativity within us. You, the music industry, the fashion industry, the play/Broadway industry, you're supposed to do stuff that inspires us to do better, to help us make you grander, make you more entertaining. But when I look at you now, I see nothing inspirational. I see nothing creative or even powerful. I see small gems of just like you trying, but afterwards, what do I have from you? What is your process? What do you even give us anymore that would qualify you? You, Hollywood, the giant pinnacle about what movies should be. Not the Sundance stuff for independent films. Not Bollywood for all of the musical movie stuff. Not even the old-time sort of record stuff where we have black and white movies still to this day without any speaking. You, the pinnacle of what we all want to aspire to get towards for filmmaking. What are you doing? What are you establishing anymore? Is it to sell out and have your soul be taken out to do stuff that does no real sense to the matter? Yes? Because that's not what I fucking want. What I want is to establish something beautiful, something immaculate, something that I would have my mom and my sister look at me with pride for. Not this bullshit that you peddle, not this fucking tirade that you have for us. Something original and entertaining. That is all I require. That's all I ask for. So, for all intents and purposes, these remakes and reboots, I don't fuck with them. I don't really jive with them. I would rather see them all go crashing and burning within an instant than ever see any of these reboots or remakes that I could either talk about now or later ever be brought to the light of day. And I fucking mean that. As much as I love the franchises that come from it, as much as I love the whole interpretation about how you could do these stories, what they're trying to make of them, I don't approve of, I don't fuck with, I want nothing or have no parts with. Go fucking die on all accounts for all of the process that you have done, Hollywood. Make sure that your entire empire crumbles. Make sure you have nothing left to stand on, and let the real artist take over and show you how to make a good story, how to make an original one, and learn from us how to do what you used to do. Now I'm done. You can either like this, you can hate this, I don't care what you do. This is my own opinion. You got a bone to pick with me on this? Go ahead, I have all fucking day to argue with anyone about this sort of topic, but take a moment to really think about this. Is Hollywood even the same as it was back then? You fucking tell me this. On the low, are they really doing this? Go back all the way back to the 20s where film was starting to get into its pinnacle. Where it was starting to grow gradually into its great peaks during the 70s and 80s and early 90s. And then kind of fell down the late 90s to then build itself back up during the 2000s. And then falling now. Tell me with your own honest breath, is Hollywood still as good as it should be? Are all the movies diamonds like you pretty much proclaim to on the highest of highs? This good? You tell me that, honestly, and I will listen to anything that you have to say in an argument or response video. I don't care. Just as long as it's honest and not fucking bullshit. Because I am done with Hollywood and all its movies. On the low.